Setting: a desolate, rocky alien planet. The air is thick with the dust of a recent unseen battle. Scattered debris from a destroyed spaceship litters the ground. Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, stands amidst the wreckage, shield still raised, breathing heavily. He scans the horizon, his expression grim. Up comes Star-Lord, aka Peter Quill. He stumbles towards him, clutching his side, a broken element of his mask dangling. And then there's Drax. Appears from behind a large rock, his massive form silhouetted against the dim sky, as he walks with a deliberate, heavy tread, surveying the damage with an unreadable expression.
Well, that was not ideal. Pretty sure I just swallowed a piece of my own mixtape.
Casualties. Is there anyone else out there?
Just us. The others, they got away. Lucky them. We're stranded, Rogers. Miles from anything. Hours from, well, anywhere.
The enemy is gone. Their retreat was swift, like a coward running from a superior opponent.
We were outmaneuvered, outdone.
Yeah, tell that to my broken jet boots. I'm starting to think this whole saving the galaxy thing is overrated. Can't a guy just get a decent burger around here?
Is that all this is to you, Quill? A game? We just lost good people. We're on a mission that dictates the fate of billions.
And what do you want from me, man? A stirring speech? A salute? I'm just trying to survive. I'm not some symbol. I make mistakes. I feel things.
He speaks of weakness, yet his voice trembles. His hands shake. These are not signs of a game, Captain. These are the signs of fear. A fear he masks with humor, like a small creature hiding in a large shadow.
Fear is a powerful motivator, but it can also be a cage.
Sometimes a cage is all you have left. When everyone you love, when everything you believe in just keeps getting ripped away.
You're not alone, Peter Quill. Your pain is known. My family was taken from me also. I understand the emptiness. But the emptiness can be filled. And it's not filled with burgers, but with purpose. And with allies who stand beside you, even when the stars themselves seem to fall.
He's right, Star-Lord. We stand together. Always. How do we get off this rock?
Well, I do have a spare communication device in my other boot. Might be a long shot, but...
And scene! Welcome back, true believers, to the penultimate stage of our monumental quest. The air is crackling with anticipation as we arrive at the semifinals of the Marvel Infinity Saga Tournament. We are only 4 Cinematic Titans remaining, well, 3 now. 3 Cinematic Titans remaining standing in our bracket to crown the best movie in the Marvel Infinity Saga. From an initial field of 23 incredible films, we've whittled it down to the absolute elite, and now the stakes couldn't be higher. For these crucial semi-final matchups, our format is designed for ultimate scrutiny. In round 1, our 3 dedicated hosts will take the reins, meticulously weighing the pros and cons of each film. They'll discuss every narrative choice, every character beat, every visual spectacle, forming their expert opinions on which movie truly deserves to advance. Then, in round 2, the tension will be palpable as our 3 hosts cast their decisive votes. The film that garners the majority will punch its ticket to the grand finals of the Infinity Saga Tournament. Get ready for some deep dives, passionate arguments, and the thrilling reveal of which 2 films will battle for the ultimate title. This is where legends are made, and only the strongest will survive. Let the semi-final debates continue. Alright, fellas, this is the second match of the semifinals. Man, oh man.
Ooh.
Have we whittled it down, baby? We have whittled it down. So, last week, for those who don't remember, we had a Avengers Saga. We had Infinity War battling Endgame. So, a lot of people thought that was going to be in the finals, but ended up Endgame got knocked off by Winter Soldier in the third round, which made them get into the MCU Money in the Bank tournament. Then they won the wild card. Then they had to go against the highest seed, which is Infinity War. And then they got. So Infinity War knocked off Endgame last week, moving Infinity War to the finals. So this week, we have the last two films. We have the number 3 ranked Guardians of the Galaxy going against the number 6 ranked Captain America the Winter Soldier. We have been looking forward to this battle for, it seems like eons at this point. We started this tournament back in April. We got 2 matches left to crown the best movie in the Marvel Infinity Saga. So, super excited to get this thing started. Super excited to jump into round 1. But, I can't. Burn, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't.
No, Matt, you can. Just go ahead and do it.
No, I can't. I can't just go ahead and do it.
I don't see why you couldn't just go ahead and jump into round 1, Matt. I don't understand what the issue is here.
You know exactly why, and I bet Liam knows exactly why also. Don't you, Liam?
I hope so.
I got one guess. My guess is that you need the tail of the tape.
Hot damn, Liam, you did it again. That's right. All right, so let's get ready for a showdown between 2 fantastic films from the MCU's Phase 2. Here's the tail of the tape for Captain America the Winter Soldier and Guardians of the Galaxy. Here we go. So, release date, Captain America the Winter Soldier, April 4th, 2014. Guardians of the Galaxy, August 1st, 2014. Yeah. Runtime, Captain America Winter Soldier, 2 hours and 16 minutes. Guardians of the Galaxy, 2 hours and 1 minute. Film budget. They both had the same film budget of $170 million. Opening weekend box office gross. Captain America the Winter Soldier grossed $95 million opening weekend. Guardians of the Galaxy grossed $94.3 million opening weekend.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Worldwide box office gross. Captain America and Winter Soldier worldwide box office gross $714.4 million. Guardians of the Galaxy worldwide box office gross $773.3 million. Then the directors. We got Anthony and Joe Russo directing Captain America the Winter Soldier. And yeah boy, James Gunn, the Gunman, directing Guardians of the Galaxy. Man, oh man, these films are so equally matched, I couldn't even tell you. Styles make fights, and I think this might end up being the fight of the tournament. Super excited to get this started, so let's just head on into round 1. Round 1, fight! All right, Daddy, so here's how it's going. Myself, Benoit Payud, and Old Lashmishma, we're going to give you the pros and cons for each film. We're going to give you what we think's best and then move on from there. So, without any further ado, I'm going to go to Liam Lashmize Reese to give us the pros and cons for Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Lashmoosh!
All right, we're doing Captain America Winter Soldier. I got 3 pros. Number 1, Black Widow in this movie. The look, her dialogue, her role and everything was on point. Her abilities and limitations were like exactly what they should be. And it all just worked so well in this movie. Natasha was awesome. And like, look at that. You didn't have to have some speech or anything like that. You didn't have to do like any like girl power stuff. The audience didn't need any of that stuff because when you have a character that's well written, they're going to be well received, and she was. That was a huge plus, I think, in this movie. Number 2, Captain America Winter Soldier, they stayed in their lane. Winter Soldier was 100% its own Captain America story. Now, yeah, there was some stuff from the original movie, but They didn't have to force anything in to set up for future projects, and they didn't have to write around any mistakes that were made in previous projects. They got to just be its movie, tell its story, and not get tripped up in any of that crap. And like we got more of it for you got like more for less because of that. So number 3, the overall tone of the movie. They took a character who is always like so good and sure of himself and really just had him rocked back on his heels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Captain America, normally he's got a problem, he's got enemies, he just puts his head down, battles it out, and you know what I mean, just fights. That he can't really do because a lot of times in this movie he doesn't even know who his enemies are. He's constantly getting like the switcheroo pulled on him and everything, and it just I think when you keep your main protagonist on his toes the whole time, your audience is on their toes the whole time. That keeps them engaged. That's what made this movie work so well. Those are my 3 pros. Cons, there aren't that many. There are definitely a few times, I will say, when they have to kind of like dump a bunch of info at once. Like when he's walking through, talking to Nick Fury, and he's telling him about all the, like the paranoia that like Shield has, and they're kind of spying on everybody. They give you a lot of that real quick without showing you. And then same thing when they go and they're in the bunker, and you have to listen to that. They get to the Zola computer. They pretty much break down like almost a whole, a whole story that could have been a whole movie, and they do it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They just dump a lot on you at once, I think. But that's they had to do it somewhere. You can't do a whole movie like that. I think I mentioned this before, but the only other con I can think of is Hydra like wasn't as careful as I thought they would be. They spend all this time working in the shadows and everything, and then like bang, they're out on a major highway, middle of the day, and this guy's shooting grenade launchers. Not that quiet, not that, not quite working in the shadows like you would think they are. But
0 to 60, real quick.
Yeah, man. But yeah, that's what I got for Captain America: Winter Soldier.
All right, let's keep it moving. I'm going to step up, give you my pros and cons for the masterpiece that is Captain America: Winter Soldier. So, first pro, we're looking at some genre bending. I'll tell you, this was the first and I think only of its kind with Captain America: Winter Soldier. It really was like a political thriller. You know what I mean? It successfully blends the superhero genre with like a 1970s style political thriller spy movie, and it offered a refreshing departure from like the typical superhero fare, and like this grounded the approach, and it resonated with so many viewers. And honestly, I think the success of this one totally relaunched the Captain America franchise. It really got things going for Marvel in Phase 2, because Phase 2 did not start hot for them. Or Phase 2, there's a couple eggs in Phase 2, Iron Man 3, Thor 2, things like that. So this one really got some juice for Phase 2. And then also, I really think this movie is what got the Russo brothers to get Infinity War and Endgame. You know what I mean? I would assume so. And then strong story and themes, right? The plot is intricate with unexpected twists, like like you're saying, the Hydra reveal. Even though, Liam, I agree with you that they kind of just went from not existing to nuts on chin like that. They could have been a little more subtle, but then like the relevant themes about surveillance, freedom, and trust had significant implications for the MCU. Like topics that you would think like Disney wouldn't touch, they really did open up a little bit about going into these like modern day topics. And then one of the things for me, and I think this might hold true in every MCU movie and show that they've done, the fight scenes, especially the hand-to-hand combat, are so incredibly well choreographed, and they're visceral. They're showcasing Captain America's enhanced abilities effectively. They did a great job getting Bucky over with his hand-to-hand combat style and his strength. And then, dude, the elevator scene. Oh my God! Even like when he's fighting on the boat,
one of the best fight scenes in all Marvel movies.
Couldn't agree more. And like the boat scene where he's fighting George St. Pierre in the beginning, so great, right? So great. And like the villains were pretty good. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like there was multiple villains here. Like Robert Redford's character was obviously a villain. Frank Grillo's character obviously a
Mhm.
villain, and then Bucky is
Yep.
heel turned babyface. You know what I mean? So really, really good stuff. And it got you asking the question of like, okay, I want to learn more about this. And then yeah, great job introducing Sam Wilson and Black Widow. You know what I mean? So honestly, there's so much great with this movie. Very tough to find the cons. So here are a couple cons. So there is potential for confusion, right? So if viewers aren't really deeply invested in the MCU lore, like the Shield
Yeah.
Hydra conspiracy, it might be just a little bit too much to grasp fully, especially when like the scientist guy for Red Skull ends up being a computer in a basement for
Yeah.
Hydra that's been watching
Yes.
everyone. Like, if you're not able to comprehend that, or like you didn't really buy into the first one, like there's a lot you could like. It could be confusing, right?
Yep.
And then some people really didn't like that it was a less super like people wanted the superhero feel, but I thought like the choreography got Cap over as a superhero, but maybe they didn't get the super villain as much. And a lot of times you need a super villain for a superhero because if you look at like Grillo, no superpowers, Robert Redford, no superpowers that we know of, right? And then Bucky had superpowers, but it wasn't that he was superpowers. He was more as like he was an enhanced human. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Which Captain America is also. So like it did have, it's more like if everyone that was in a political thriller was juicing, you know. So
Yeah.
it didn't have like, didn't have the super duper superhero feel. Like no one's flying around with a hammer that shoots lightning out of its dick. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like it is missing that. But then also the pacing at the end. So while the general it was really well paced, right? A couple people found that in the final act with its massive explosion and helicarrier battles, and then to lose a little of the tight grounded feel of the earlier conspiracy elements, that kind of went away when it went from being like this is a covert op mission to kind of just being a bit larger than life. But I kind of like the crescendo at the end with the big finish, but I could see how it's like it kind of lost the theme with the pacing at the end. But either way, honestly, I'm nitpicking with that stuff. This
Yeah.
movie is damn near flawless from the acting to the performances to the fight choreography to like everything in between. It starts off fucking red hot and keeps the pace most of the time. Like, really, really good
Hmm.
stuff. One of my favorite movies. And that's all I got for pros and cons. Pros and cons for Captain America the Winter Soldier. Benoit Payet, I'm going to kick it to you.
Thank you very much, Maddie. Yeah, I mean, this is a tough night for me because I think my two favorite Marvel movies are versus each other. So this is I got a lot of good things to say and not a lot of cons. You guys covered most of it. I wish Marvel would do a little more in the genre film region. They did a little bit with Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was more of a like kind of a traditional martial arts movie, a little different than some of the stuff. But I wish they would lean into that a little bit more because when it's done
Like
right,
what, Bern? Can I ask? And I don't want to. I would hate to birdwalk here. And Liam, I'd like your opinion on this as well. But are you saying like, for instance, right? Like, what if they did a Doctor Strange movie, right? Where really it had like a murder mystery feel to it instead, right? Is that kind of what you're saying? Like, I would fucking love that.
yeah, like a cosmic mystery or something, like a mystery
Cosmic
flick.
murder
Uh,
mystery style,
They
right?
of
did
who
one
of
of
who?
the what if. Did you see the what if with
Yeah,
Nebula where she's part of the Nova Corps? That was
that
pretty
was cool.
cool. They did try to do like a political kind of that. Dude, I think Marvel might have fucked that up though when they did Secret Invasion though, because they tried
Yes,
to kind of do the political like
thriller
who's
again.
behind it, yeah, who's behind this and who's working in the shadows, and they shit the bed on that one. So
They shit on that one.
we gotta hope they
Well,
come back around with something.
Well, dude, they could do like, they could do definitely like if they want to come back in a big way. If they had like say Ryan Coogler comes back for a third Black Panther and
That would work.
he does like a thriller, like almost like a Sinner style thriller where it's a little extra gory, like the fight scenes are a little dirtier. You got a full villain that is like insurmountable, and everyone has to work together to solve that. Like, and people are dying left and right. Like, if they did something like that, I mean, they do it like the formula. Like, I think one of the best things about Winter Soldier is that the formula changed.
Yes.
Like
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. I'd
So
love to
like,
see it with other characters. You're right. Strange
agreed.
would be
Expand
awesome.
it.
Like
And
mystical
look,
magic. Oh, dude, that would be awesome. You're right.
right. Like a mystery. Like, dude, like if fucking because whatchamacallit, Cumberbatch was fucking Sherlock.
Yeah,
Right?
yes. It,
Like,
it would
what
be
the fuck
very
are we
cool.
doing here?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
he
You're
knows how
right.
to do it. Why are
That's
we
a
not
great
doing
idea,
that?
man. It is.
Dude, and like, look, if it's a swing and a miss, I think they'd still like, look, we're trying new things here, right? We've made
Yeah,
30 fucking movies and 10
yeah,
fucking shows, so we're just trying
yeah.
something new, guys.
Yep.
Shoot me, you know?
Yeah. I mean, listen,
I'd be down.
they've got the action adventure down.
Yep.
We got that. We got a political thriller here. If you look at, I mean, we'll talk about Guardians next, but it's almost like a buddy cop road movie. It's almost like Midnight Run or something. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
they work well when they do them. They maybe took a shot at the rom com for everyone's favorite She-Hulk, and that didn't work as well. But anyway,
So fucking awful.
love that they changed it up
Well,
a little
Love
bit.
and
Love it.
Thunder was a rom com. Sorry, I'm
They made
interrupting. Go ahead, Bern.
love they made a genre flick. We talk about the action. I mean, if you think about this movie, we go from the scene on the boat to Fury in his car to the highway fight to the
Oh.
elevator to the
Oh.
escape to the bunker exploding to the finale on like the helicarriers.
Yeah.
I mean, all of those things happened in 2 hours in this movie,
Ugh.
and not at the
Unreal.
expense of developing
Character and
Black
yeah.
Widow into like, okay, now she's not just like she's got a real character.
She's a smoocher.
Introducing and developing Sam Wilson as a guy who this franchise is still leaning on, and is I think Anthony Mackie's phenomenal in that character. I loved the casting choices. I love Bob Redford as a bad guy. I love Gary Shandling as the scummy senator.
Yeah.
Who was just like, yeah,
He was great, wasn't he?
Go
Yeah,
with one
yeah,
of my
oh, yeah.
constituents. Yeah. Like just the smarmiest, fucking scummiest
Yeah.
dude that we can all relate to. I think for me, this is by far one of the most rewatchable movies. Like, there's so many scenes in this movie that if I was walking by the TV and it was on, I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna watch the rest of the scene. And then before I realized before I realized that it's an hour later, and I'm like, well, I guess I just finished the movie. I feel like you can come in at almost any point in this movie and get sucked into the whole thing.
But
So,
absolutely.
Those are my pros. You guys covered it pretty well. Cons, not a lot. I thought they were a little sloppy with some of the romantic connections. They don't know what they want to do with Steve and Nat. They don't know what they want to do with Steve and Sharon Carter.
Good call.
They just don't seem like they have, and you don't necessarily need that, but it almost feels like they stuck their toes in the water without knowing.
Yeah, then why do it at all?
Then why bother with it, right? Then maybe
can I
just
ask,
pull it out.
Can I ask too? Like, do you guys think, and this is from your experiments as like your guys are comic book aficionados, but do you think like them having Nat and Cap have a smooch? Do you think that was the studio saying like, look, we want to try and make this work, add this in? Because I don't think knowing the Russo brothers style, they just don't do that.
Well, here's the deal.
Yeah.
The studio is always going to want to have sexual tension between two really attractive people, if they can do it, right? And Steve, there's no doubt that there was sexual tension between Steve and both Sharon Carter and Nat, who are all extremely attractive people.
Well, Black Widow and Winter Soldier bang each other.
Yeah,
like in the comics. Yeah.
In the comics.
Do they really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both ex-spies and stuff. They have shit in common. They're not proud of their past. You know what I mean?
What about, but like, So, but
Winter
I thought
Soldier was a
Tony and Black Widow were cool.
hey man.
Oh,
Tony's
well,
got
What do you
Tony's got
think?
Tony's got a
What's
lot to
Tony
sort out.
think? What
yeah.
would
No,
Tony Stark do if he hasn't seen Bucky in years, and then he walks in
yeah.
on him just plowing Widow, and he's like,
I bel
you kill my parents, now you bang my dream, you know, like, come on.
Yeah, but he had Pepper, you know what I mean?
he had
I'm
Pepper.
saying,
Yeah,
you don't think if they would have been like, hey, we won't tell Pepper, let's go bang, he wouldn't have knocked dropped the bottom out of fucking Natasha Romanoff.
I
Well,
mean,
I
he
think
would have been Iron Man
Scarlett
too.
Johansson, I think anybody's gonna,
Yeah. Yeah, I think in the comics, actually, Winter Soldier trains her. He's a trainer for the Red Room widows. Like they bring him
Shut
in
Oh.
up.
to train. Yeah,
Oh, so she had like the teacher coach
Yeah, because
complex.
they would have
Yeah.
crossed paths and maybe
yeah,
even did in the MCU. At some point, they may have even, you know,
yeah.
been around
Um,
each other.
and my only other real con, and I think it works. This movie is insular. I think it works that it's like Cap's got Falcon and Black Widow, and they have to get to the bottom of this, and it turns out the whole government's against them. But like once you realize what the plot is, which is to assassinate 6 million people on the planet that you pose as potential threats to your rule coming forward, some of those people including Stephen Strange, Bruce Banner,
Uh-huh.
we're the fucking Avengers. I mean, you make a call if you're Steve at that point and be like, Tony,
Yeah.
I need a little
Or
bit.
Fury too.
Right, Fury as well. So if I'm really nitpicking, I'm like, hey, Steve, I know you wanted to handle this one on your own because it's Bucky, but once you realize what the actual Hydra plot is, might be time to
Yeah, give
give
Tony
a
a
shout
call.
to the rest
Yeah,
of
to
the
like
team.
kill your other buddies.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
murder all your friends. Like it might
Dude,
have been a good idea to
but
let
they're all
the crew
friends
know.
with Tony. Like Natasha could have called him too. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. Like it's
Yeah.
I'm not putting the blame on anyone, but it's like once you realize
No,
what
put
the
the blame,
plan
Brian.
is, maybe you want to get like
Step
one of the
up a little,
smartest guys
Yeah.
Yeah.
and the best tech dude on the planet involved to come and help you a little bit. But really, that's as nitpicky as I can get with the Winter Soldier. I think it's
Nitpicky, Danny.
I think
Nitpicky. All right.
it's as close to a perfect movie as Marvel has made.
Let's
Oh,
keep
yeah.
it moving then. So, are we good to move on to Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh,
Yes, sir.
one more
Oh.
quick pro though. I do like that we got a little bit of Nick. Liam mentioned it last time. The best Nick Fury movie, and we get a little Nick Fury backstory about the eye, about him getting working for the CIA, getting Redford
Yeah.
out. Like this movie
Yeah.
really did right by Nick Fury, and it was really the last time anyone did right by Nick Fury in the entire.
Yeah, it was
MCU.
his best. That was his best.
I mean, I feel like Captain
portrayal of
Marvel,
Fury.
they gave him
They-
a shout, but that
they
movie
did.
sucked so much ass. Ugh, the movie's
First one
fucking-
wasn't as bad as the second one.
No,
There's a second Captain Marvel?
The Marvels?
The Marvels. Yeah.
I don't even think I saw that.
Yeah, you're not missing her. You're not missing much. What's her name's
Ugh.
not bad though. The chick that plays Miss Marvel is
Miss Marvel's really good.
She's
really
pretty
good.
good.
Brie Larson?
No. The younger one.
The kid.
Miss Marvel. Kamala
I
Khan.
don't fucking
She
know, dude.
she fits that character. She's a
Yes.
good fit for that character, but they haven't given her anything to work with. That's
No,
the
she
problem.
she was the standout. The only things that I remember of that movie was how good she was, and then the
Yeah.
post-credit scene with Kelsey Grammer's Beast, and that was pretty much.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all.
Say what?
Yeah.
All right. Well, now I definitely don't have to see that movie. Okay. Awesome. So let's move on to Guardians of the Galaxy. LaShmoosh, I'm going back to you. Hit me with a few pros and a couple of cons. Okay?
Okay. All right. Guardians of the Galaxy. Here are my pros. Number one, that soundtrack. Yeah, hooked on a
Daddy.
feeling, spirit in the sky. The Jackson 5, I want you back. Come and get your
Yeah.
love. Cherry bomb. Ooh chop.
Yep.
So
Bowie? Don't forget about Bowie.
James Gunn, yes. James Gunn does such an awesome job with this in all of his movies, but
Yeah.
especially the Guardians movies, he did awesome with this. So much of the identity of this movie and like what makes it what makes it so original and its own thing is tied up in the soundtrack. I don't
Mm.
believe for a second that these characters who weren't well known until you get this movie, without this soundtrack, without Peter Quill having the Walkman and always playing the music in the ship and everything, and Groot
Yeah.
dancing to it, without the soundtrack, I just don't know if these characters get that big.
Nope. Nope.
Second, yes, my second pro, the effects. I love the scenes in space. Any of the
Yes.
times they're in the ships, they're in the Milano, or flying through space, or when he's in they're helping the Nova Corps. I just like imagine how cool it would be in those ships. When they make that really cool shield when all of them line up and
Oh, that
everything.
was so awesome.
Dude, I love that kind of like sci-fi stuff. Advanced technology and everything. And it was really cool in this movie. And number 3, the casting. How do you take characters that nobody really knows to start with and then still cast the actors that are perfect for those
Yeah.
characters? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Couldn't
now
agree more.
nobody really knew who they were to begin with. But now, could you even imagine somebody else playing Yondu? Somebody else playing
No.
Gamora?
No.
Peter Quill?
No
Nope.
way.
Could anyone other than Vin Diesel do Groot?
No
No.
way.
Just kidding.
Cooper's
On
the
that
only
on that
rocket
last
head.
one. Just kidding on that last one. But I'm joking on that. But the rest, I'm right about. Like Peter
You were right
Quill.
about Vin Diesel too.
Yeah. Peter
Hey.
Quill, Gamora. That they nail it. And
Give it up to
Even
Diesel.
Karen Gillan as Nebula, like that
yeah,
was a total sleeper. Like she had done Doctor Who before
she
this and had
works.
a
You're
big
right.
Doctor Who, but she fucking murdered,
Yup.
right? Like every dude, and then they even like the small things, casting what's his face? God damn, why am I fucking blanking? John C. Riley. Casting John C. Riley, huge fucking like
Yep.
they were great. They're absolutely
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, they just dude, Gunn does such a good job with characters and just like the tones of the movie and everything. He's awesome.
Yeah.
So those are my pros. Got a couple cons, just a couple.
Con it, daddy.
Number 1, Ronan. Like I thought he was like, shallow, like he was thin compared to what he could be. Like let him tell us why he hates Xandar so much, why he loves the Kree Empire. Like show us, that universal weapon he has too. It can do a lot more than what they showed. It just because I was pretty psyched to see that they were using that, but he didn't do it. That thing can like manipulate gravity and teleport and it's just that I would have liked to see more of that. But again, nitpicking, small part of the movie, great movie. Number
Yeah.
2, con, Drax the Destroyer. He should have been a lot stronger. He should have been a lot more durable. Ronan
You've been
is no
harping on that
chump.
for a while.
Yeah, Ronan is no chump, but there's no way he manhandles him. For the record, Drax is the same guy that in the comics mowed down waves of the Annihilus, like all his army and everything. He rips Thanos' heart out, like punches through Thanos and rips his heart out. He fights the
What?
Hulk. He broke She-Hulk's back, like snapped her back in half, dude.
Mhm.
He's a
'Cause she
monster.
sucks.
Drax, yeah, but she's tough in the comic. Dude, he knocked Silver Surfer off course and then he blew up a moon and stuff. Like Drax is a beast, dude. Like way more so than in the movie.
Dude, they just made him like a guy that can slang knives pretty good.
Yeah, and he's like comic relief. They made him a little more durable in the later movies. Remember, he's hanging out the back of the ship, but
Yeah.
it's we're nitpicking. These are fantastic movies. They're like as good as it gets.
Yeah.
And number 3, I kind of have hindsight now, so this one is really, you want to talk about nitpicking. Last week we talked about Richard Rider Nova. Like, how are you going to show us the Nova Corps and the planet and everything? And, now here we are all these years later, no Nova. He
Still
never
no
paid.
Nova.
They did that, what? Just to tease us? No payoff, man? Not digging it. But that's it. That's it for me. Guardians pros and cons, man.
Love it. Very good. I'm going to go next. So, for what your boy got here. Couple of pros, Daddy. So this is another thing. So this is something that I think the MCU they really had to do this, because if they would have done the same old type of movie with the same old gimmick going and be like, hey, this formula worked for this, why don't we just do that for these guys? It'll work. No. They had to have a unique tone and humor, man. The Guardians of the Galaxy had to stand out with its like quirky, irrelevant humor and vibrant aesthetic, and it needed to have its own distinct personality, and that's what Gunn did. He made this its own movie. Like, this movie could be so far removed from the MCU, and it's just a badass, awesome movie. You know what I mean? So it's a comic adventure with tons of heart. It had some great like 80s throwback style scenes that they shot, especially in the beginning when he's running from the hospital. Like, I absolutely love this. Liam, you're totally right about the cast. Couldn't agree more. The casting was absolutely perfect. The soundtrack, unbelievable. But I love too, like, Gunn does this a lot with all of his stuff. It's so visually stimulating, right?
Mhm.
Like, the film boosts incredible creative world building. You know, the alien designs and environments, and like going to nowhere. I fucking love when they're on nowhere. I love the prison that they get taken to. Like, he's offering
Yeah.
a visual spectacle unlike any other MCU film, and I think that's why it made this such a success, is that it was so different from every other film, and it needed to be. It would not have been a success if it was just cookie cutter like they've been doing. You know, it had to be completely different, standalone, something new, something fresh. And then also, like, as much as this was fun, you know, and it was, and new, and vibrant, and bright, and all this stuff, this film, it had some heartfelt stuff too. You know what I mean? Like, with the whole thing with Quill and his mom, where he holds the hand at the end, and it's like, oh my god, you know, Peter. So yeah, despite the
Yeah.
humor, the film delivers genuinely emotional moments, particularly concerning Peter Quill's past and the formation of his new unlikely family. And then also, it brought a whole new corner of the MCU, right? Like, this is a part of the MCU. I had no idea who Nova Corps was. Couldn't have told you like anything about the Kree. Like, I had no clue about any of this stuff, right? So it introduced a whole new world, which I absolutely loved, and they crushed it. Couple of cons though. But it has to be said, the villains are just, they stink, right? Like, you know, it stinks. Like, the guy who played Ronan, I like him as an actor. He was great in the Hobbit movies.
Yeah,
He's
Mark Strong,
good.
he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's good in there's a Apple Plus show he's in that he's really good. Like, he's a good actor, you know. It just stinks that like you're saying, like, they didn't give him enough time. They really concentrated on building the family dynamic between the Guardians. And I get it, and that had to be done. But you could have done a little something else to put him over a little more besides beat up on Drax. And then the plot itself sometimes can feel less consequential. So while it introduces an Infinity Stone, the overall plot seems like a series of stuff that happens rather than a deeply intricate narrative like Winter Soldier was. You know, I don't want to compare them, but we are comparing. And then also, I mean, not everyone likes the humor. You know what I mean? Some people like their superhero movies. We're coming live. Remember, this is 2014, so we're fresh off the Batman trilogy. So people were taking their superhero movies very seriously. Okay?
Yeah.
Very serious. All right? We're not here to make jokes. We're here to be superheroes. Okay? So the humor wasn't for everybody. And then also, like, this was such a small pocket of the MCU, it really didn't affect the rest of the MCU, which I kind of liked in hindsight. So that's
Yep.
my pros and my cons. Benoit, hey, Yude, make some sense of this. Wrap it up, so let's move on to round two. Daddy, love it. Let's go.
All right. So pros for Guardians of the Galaxy. You guys have covered this really well. I think you're right about the casting. Like, you know, by the time the characters go to jail, right after they have their little dust up, and they all get sent to jail, we know who Quill is. We know who Nebula is. We know who, you know, we haven't met Drax yet, but like those characters are so fleshed out early on that we already know who this whole crew is, which is really, really tough to do with characters who don't have a lot of historical significance and like huge stories. It was the perfect combination of funny and emotional. I mean, I don't know. Now, also, I went to see this movie with my brothers like a couple months after my dad died. So, like, I'll never be able to separate that experience. But, like, man, did they nail it right in the guts. Michael Rooker, finally able to do all the things that he can do in one character. He can be a badass, he can be mean, he can be funny, he can be sensitive, he can be heartwarming. I feel like Rooker often gets thrown into like the tough guy, shut your mouth and I'm going to be this guy, dude. And he does that for a lot of Yondu, but man, he is so good in this movie. I think it's his best character. I think it spreads his wings the farthest, and he does the whole thing in completely blue makeup with a weird, with a weird mohawk
Mouth's all messed up.
going. It's super daring, like we talked about before. Just the idea that, like, wait, Guardians of the Galaxy? Are you serious? Like, good luck with that one. And it totally expanded, for better or worse. I think Marvel's creatively being like, holy shit, we don't just have to do stories about, our highest grossing IP characters. If we get someone to write and direct, who really gives a shit about this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Talked about the music. I mean, there's a song in Superman that Iggy Pop had never performed live. He's performing it live now because it got such a huge response. It was the ending credits of the film. And like, he literally had never done the song live. I just saw a video of him doing it live in concert last week. Like, Guns, just his ear is fucking perfect, man. It's perfect. It's perfect. Pitch perfect, if you don't mind me making that pun. And a little fun fact, which I liked about this.
Love a fun fact.
A lot of these, so these movies will then go get dubbed by a number of different actors from a number of different countries, right? There'll be a French dub, there'll be a Spanish dub, there'll be a Mandarin dub, there'll be a German dub, there'll be, they have other actors dub all these movies. A rub-a-dub. Not for Groot. Vin Diesel insisted on dubbing all of his own lines. So if you're watching the Chinese version of Guardians of the Galaxy, all the other actors are done by Chinese actors. Vin Diesel figured out how to say "I am Groot" in Chinese and did the dubbing for all of his own stuff. So Vin Diesel actually recorded this in like 17 or 18 languages. Which is just an awesome little thing. He's like, hey, what do I gotta learn? I gotta learn 3 words. I can do this, guys. I can do this.
Good for him.
This movie is it's number one in my heart. Cons, I mean, you guys nailed it. I would have liked to see a little bit more conflict between Ronan and Xandar, just to really foment like that hatred. Why he's such a zealot, why he hates Xandar so much. We've talked about Ronan and Drax, ad nauseum, about how neither one of those characters really shine. I will say, and I don't want to pick on Batista because I think Batista is a really excellent actor, and I think he's been getting better and better and better as time goes by. But Dave Bautista's drunk acting on Nowhere is fucking dog shit. It's terrible, and it's very tough to be drunk. Like, most actors will say it's really hard to play someone who's drunk or high. I heard an interview with Sam Rockwell the other day, which was like, yeah, well, when I was younger, I would get hammered and then I would film because someone was like, you're really good at playing like a drunk. And he's like, yeah, because I would get drunk and film myself and then go back and watch it to be like, oh, this is what I actually look like, sound like, dude. Like, most actors say it's really hard. It's harder to play drunk or high than it is to play like, heartbroken or emotional. And Batista wasn't quite there with his drunk acting on Nowhere. It's not, it's that particular point is the low acting point of the movie, but thankfully it doesn't go on for very long. And there's way more problems in that scene. Like you said, Ronan just washing him. So it kind of goes away, but, yeah, I mean, other than what you guys have already said, I think that's all I got for my cons on Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right. Well, that looks like it'll do it for round 1. You guys ready to head on to round 2?
I feel ill. I feel sick to my stomach right now, man.
Yeah, this is a hard
one.
All right.
You love both.
I know.
You must choose.
I know.
You
Yeah.
I know.
must
I know.
choose.
I know.
All right. Let's head on to round two. Round two. Fight! All right, here we go. Round two. This is where we decide what movie moves on to the finals of the first ever MCU Infinity Saga Tournament. So, what we're going to do is myself, Benoit Payud, and Lashmishma are going to cast our vote on what movie we think should move on. Liam, you'll be voting first. I'll be voting second. And Benoit Payud could possibly have the deciding vote. We don't know. We'll have to find out when we get there. But either way, Lashmishma, take it away, Big Dick Daddy.
All right. I want to start by saying that I really, really, really love both of these movies. It's a hard decision to make. Like I love uh, Winter Soldier. There's like you said, the action. It's almost like you get less is more. There's not as much CGI, but that's what makes the action, and it's so awesome. The story is perfect. You know, the characters are perfect. You get everything you want from that kind of movie. It's like the Captain America movie we never knew we needed that bad. And
Well said.
Guardians of the Galaxy is, you know, again another movie we didn't know we needed. We didn't even know we needed those characters. They ended up being
Nope.
so important in all the Infinity Saga and everything. And the soundtrack it's gonna end up being timeless. You're gonna go back and listen to that stuff and just like you said, the way he builds those worlds are just amazing.
I
But
love that it's going to introduce music like that to my kids, too.
yes,
Think about
agreed.
that.
Yep. Yeah, but as awesome as both those movies are, at the end of the day, I have to pick Winter Soldier because it's just to me, it's just that good. Like it's just that good.
Wow.
I'd have a hard time picking anything over that. And as much as I love Guardians, yes, my vote goes to Captain America: Winter Soldier. Mark it
Wow.
down. Mark it
The
down,
dick
Daddy.
on you. The dick on you. All right. Well, that's one for Winter Soldier. Here we go. Okay. So, your boy, old Uncle Matty. Here we go. So, as we all know, Captain America Winter Soldier is a phenomenal spy thriller. It redefined the MCU's, grounded side. Guardians of the Galaxy does offer a more pivotal and expansive contribution to Infinity Saga overall reaching narrative. But Winter Soldier excels in character development for Cap and introduces key elements like Shield's fall, but its impact is largely confined to earthbound politics and espionage, right? When you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, on the other hand, it blew open the cosmic side of the MCU, introducing audiences to the vastness of the entire galaxy. You got the Nova Corps, you got the Kree, and most importantly, you got a crucial Infinity Stone, the Power Stone, if I may say so. It gave us our first glimpse at old Thanos. Really,
Oh yeah.
I said it established Thanos. You know what I mean? He kind of, I think he was in the post, or maybe he was in a post credit scene somewhere.
We see him for a second in the post credit for Avengers, but
There,
just for a quick second, and it wasn't even broke.
Yeah. So you're right. It does establish in this movie that I
Yeah.
wouldn't consider that establishing him, seeing him turn around for a second.
No.
Well, okay,
Avengers.
I agree, but this one establishes him as a truly terrifying force,
Yes.
and it's through Ronan. Like if you're seeing Ronan as this super powerful guy, and if Thanos is just dirt dogging this guy, it's really setting the stage that would end up being for Infinity War and Endgame, and Winter Soldier just really didn't touch any of that, right? The film is Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a unique blend of humor, heart. It's a vibrant world building, made obscure characters household names, and it improved the MCU's ability to take risk and succeed in an epic universe spanning scale, right? Its influence on the tone and scope of the subsequent films, it's undeniable. So, I mean, and it has direct ties to Infinity Stones. So it does make it arguably more essential in the saga's, grand scheme. So this is why I'm choosing Guardians of the Galaxy to go to the finals.
Ooh, tied it up. Tied it
So
up.
we got one
This
for Winter
It's all on you,
Soldier.
Burn. It's all
this
on
We
is
got
you.
one
terrible.
for the Guardians.
Oh, it feels terrible. I was almost hoping you went Winter Soldier just so I wouldn't have to. All right,
Well,
no.
be a man
All
for
right.
once in your
Yeah.
fucking
No,
life,
no, no,
huh?
no, no. It's time to grow up.
Oh,
Time to grow up. Time to grow up
Grow
here.
the fuck up, Burn.
These are my two favorite MCU movies,
Hmm.
not just
wow.
from the Infinity Saga, but in total. So, of all the 30 plus movies they've done and, pushing a dozen TV shows, the two single best pieces of work, I think, are Guardians of the Galaxy and The Winter Soldier. Um, this is hard. It's real hard, but hard men do hard things. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, is my favorite MCU movie. It's the one that I can rewatch the most. It's a little lighter. It brings me to an interesting time in my life, and it was very important to me. Guardians of the Galaxy has my heart,
Mhm.
but my head knows that The Winter Soldier is the better film. It's a better movie from start to finish. It reminds us of something that Hollywood doesn't do anymore, which is take these IP characters and just make a really interesting, compelling movie. It's still filled with action. It's still filled with all of the comic nerdery and delightful stuff we come to an MCU movie for. But there's another layer to this that I have not seen in another MCU movie. I'm going to
Yeah,
break this
sense.
tie.
Yep.
My vote is for Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Wow. So the finals is now set. You have the number 2 seed, Avengers Infinity War, going against the number 6.
That's
The
pretty.
number
That's
6
incredible.
seed, Captain America Winter Soldier.
Incredible.
Are
Wow.
you fucking kidding me? Next
Wow.
week, the grand
Wow.
final of the Marvel
Wow.
Infinity Saga Tournament. Burn, we started this motherfucker back in April, Daddy. April. All right?
Yeah, it feels like it. It feels like it feels like this is spring through
Been a
summer. I think
longer.
we
It's a
made a
lot
good
of
move.
movies, dude. That's why.
Yeah.
It's because of a
Yeah.
lot of movies in Infinity
I've loved,
Saga.
23.
honestly, I've really enjoyed it because I've rewatched every movie that we
Yeah.
did,
Same.
and
Yeah.
they've been fucking awesome. It's been awesome, even the shitty ones. You know, I didn't
Hmm.
love Thor 2. I did not like Hulk. I don't like Captain Marvel. Like Iron Man 3 wasn't great,
Iron
but
Man
it's
3 was like,
I think
the
Iron
thing,
Man
the
3 eats a
stuff with
little
the
too much
kid,
shit.
and
It's the Mandarin stuff that people got mad about, which I
agreed.
didn't hate.
Yeah, that part does suck. When you found
But
out it was that, you're like, what are they doing here?
but
You know?
they did correct that in Shang-Chi, I feel
Yeah.
like. I feel
Yeah.
like they heard us and they
Yeah.
corrected it.
Yeah.
all right. Well, let's
But
not birdwalk. So.
yeah, okay.
All
We
right.
are
All right.
we are coming towards the top of time. Guys, the final set next week we will crown the first ever champion Marvel Infinity Saga tournament. Burn, anything you got to say before we rowdy 5?
No, you said it, man. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a great excuse to go back and watch these and to think about them critically, not just enjoy it with your popcorn, but to really dig into what the
Mm,
MCU was trying to do. And
mm,
and when the MCU was really, we've talked about it, it's had some ups and downs in these phases, 4 and 5 or wherever we are now. But man, this was a 10-year span where, like, even if they put out a bit of a stinker, odds were the next one was going to be pretty fucking good. So this
yeah.
is when Marvel was cooking, fire on
Oh,
all cylinders. It's been nice to go back and just relive that, just
yeah.
relive those moments.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong. Lashmoosh, what do you got, Daddy?
This one, man. Next week, I am just, you know, chomping at the bit to make this decision. These are just.
Oh yeah, Daddy.
It's going to take all of my skills and training, and I'm going to have to rewatch these movies. And you know,
I do love too that it's a team up movie versus an individual character story movie.
We talk about styles make fights, and I don't know if you're going to have a better example of styles making fights of putting these two together, because they're thematically and impact wise and scope wise, they're very, very different. So we got our work cut out for us for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So all right. Well, speaking of having our work cut out for us, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. In case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on thy show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com, and please like and subscribe. We keep bringing you this incredible content. We love you guys. We can't do this without you. Thanks. See ya!